Dire team ban. Dire team pick.
Faceless Void.
Death.
Vengeful spirits.
Dire team pick.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back again. We're here in the International 2016. It's the regional qualifiers. I'm Lyrical, joined as well by Gareth Bates and Cass. Sir, how are you doing?
I'm really angry that GB, Great Britain, England has left the EU. I was very tilted last night. I'm gonna, not go back to Europe because we're getting kicked out. I'm gonna stay here in LA and stay as an illegal immigrant. Then when Trump gets voted in, I'm gonna get kicked out over the wall. So the next year or so for me is gonna be a rough one, Lyrical, unless I find some safe haven. I don't know.
We'll go to Canada together.
Go to Canada, yeah, sure. We'll all move out to Canada.
Well, for now at least, we do have a draft. We'll hop right into it. Sorry about the little bit of the issues with production. This is my first time doing the regionals right now, so I'm a bit of a noob, but don't worry. We'll make it work. TNC Pro Team facing off against the Mongolz. This is the third round so far of games, and TNC in the first was able to do a bit of an upset and take down Fnatic. And if I'm not mistaken, you were casting those games earlier. Anything you can let us know?
It was more Fnatic, like making mistakes in terms of setting the tempo and knowing when they were allowed to fight and not fight, but also the fact that TNC drafted themselves a very strong kind of counter lineup to what the Drow strat from Fnatic brought them. TNC has been this team that for the past, since February last year, let's say, they were winning their first foray into the scene. Let's start there. Was they beat Fnatic in the Corsair Gaming Arena in March last year, and it's right, this is a team that can perform. This is a team that's going to do very well.
Right. And
they did very well, but they never broke out from that kind of tier 2 SEA into getting to LAN events and winning qualifiers.
Right.
Now they've had some roster changes. Tihi has dropped out of the team twice. Now he's been replaced by Demon, and QQ stepped into that mid lane role and is playing a lot of Tihi's heroes. They look very strong. The drafting is always, impeccable from AU. It's just that execution now is a lot crisper, it feels like. While on the flip side, Mongolz, the opponents that they're up against, they're in the same position now as TNC were last year. They're an up-and-coming team. They look strong. Their drafting is good. They've got excellent players. And they've always played from Mongolia, where their ping is 150, 200 to see in China. But they like to boot camp in Singapore, where obviously they get 30 ping and stuff like that. And you can see that their precision and skill shows and shines a lot better when they do boot camp from that closer region. But, it's a lot down to draft, I think. This patch, it seems that you can get out-drafted quite heavily. And so far, Faceless Void has been first picked in a lot of these games. Death Prophet Vengeful Spirit is a kind of an interesting opener, though, from the Mongols.
Right. Well, and I will say I've been following the TNC stages as they went through the open qualifiers, and there were a lot of question marks. You mentioned that AU, he was this drafter that was incredibly strong and capable of, putting them in great position. Now they've switched over to Demon, and it still ended up working out really effectively. And I've noticed this common thread throughout their drafts. In the first couple of phases, they were taking the Vengeful Spirit first overall if they could for Demon, and now they've started to switch over, run the Faceless Void. That Juggernaut in the mid lane is that consistent force that's a bit of an issue, and so I like what we're seeing so far. As far as the other bands that have come out now, it's the Tidehunter, Terrorblade, Drow Ranger, and that Lich. So all in all, it feels to me that I want to see TNC go for what they've been doing best, and maybe think about, since the Terrorblade is taken down, running another one of those strong scaling cores that's capable of fighting early and taking those towers.
Yeah, it was an interesting thing for me as well when Tihi left TNC. Who fills the gap, right? Because his main strength was that he played unconventional mid heroes, the Clinks, the Juggernaut, even the Phantom Lancer back 6 months ago. No one really knew where that came from or what was going on with it. But QQ came in and he's done an exceptional job, but for the safe lane hero for Raven, he's always loved his Ember Spirits, these kind of mobile, annoying heroes that can get up in the face of opponents, while Doombringer for the Mongols is the third pick for them. It's going to allow them, obviously, that kind of artificial gold boost through the Devour, getting that gold into him. But whether you run it as the 4 roll here, which obviously is probably the safer option, or the offlaner to try and maybe mitigate how much TNC get from their safe lane is going to be the interesting factor.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see that as well. It seems like it's a good answer to the Faceless Void. Sometimes we've seen that, picking up a Shadow Blade and then being able to get that initiation. So I'd like to see TNC maybe go for a pick that allows them to get a little bit of a vision advantage. Not sure what that would look like as of yet. I mean, the Beastmaster already banned out very early. Maybe they go back for something like a Night Stalker, but it would really behoove either side, because when you get those two, big ultimates that are coming around, TNC have tended to choose heroes that fight around that chronosphere pretty effectively. So as for now, it's just going to be the Lion, some more forms of initiation, good stuff. Although I do wonder if they might be lacking, their damage should be okay for now at least.
Yeah, the thing with the Juggernaut pick so early on is that obviously it can go safe lane or mid, and I think Invoker is a hero with Lion and Void is going to be massively important if they want to go that route. While the Mongols have shown their hand quite early on with the Death Prophet, that's going towards the mid. It's going to be an annoying hero to handle. Now the Dazzle adds in that saving function that we've seen. Dazzle and Oracle very good with the DP, keeping the Exorcism going. But with the Doom now heading towards the offlane and an AA picked up by TNC, all of this healing coming through, all of these saving factors that the Mongols have, even the Scorched Earth from Doom, these are kind of fight extenders that the Mongols have, wanting to have the kind of scrappier back and forth guerrilla tactics. You come in, you come out, you swap back, you grave up. TNC just like one ulti, one spell, one support. More importantly, it's not a core hero. If you want to try and win these fights, the Mongols kind of have to, jump in, catch and kill the AA.
Yeah, this to me feels like it's the Yu-Gi-Oh trap card, if you will. You throw it out there. You've already
activated it.
They see all these heroes already. Death Prophet trying to get the heals. You think about building into the Octarine Correlator, and one of the great parts is being able to heal up from it. Obviously, the Exorcism. Now, with the Faceless Void being able to just drop that down and an easy setup for the AA, I really like their chances. And it does make me think. They've been running the Cuckoo Juggernaut mid, but I do really like that Invoker pick now. The global range potential, if you just have even a Lion setting up on somebody, you've got a tremendous amount of burst damage that can come out rather rapidly. So I would love to see that pick. We'll see if the Mongols are a little bit worried about it as well. But I guess that's something that I don't really know how teams feel about it. If you got a hero or a player that constantly runs one thing throughout, this open qualifier runs, do they want to try and switch it up even if it is a good pick? We'll see how they play it.
But the 5th bans, this is pretty important for both teams. The final heroes coming out, likely going to be both safe lane heroes here for them. Of course, like I mentioned before, the Ember Spirit for Raven is incredibly strong. The Queen of Pain, though, interesting. And out there, I guess you add in the Finger of Death, the Ice Blast, and then a Sonic Wave. That hero can just insta-wipe an entire team here if they get the right, the right initiation from a Chrono is all they need to just be like, right, fight done, game's over, tier 1 towers, tier 2 towers are all done for. While the Naga Siren is going to be that tempo slower that TNC don't want to deal with. Followed through with the Alchemist, so not only picked the AA, but they've also picked the Alchemist who could have suffered against it.
I love this pick right here. You look at the way that, of course, Doom is still going to be an issue. That's something that you're not really going to be able to get around. But you do have this great answer if you're able to, if they can't punish this early. Dazzle, not the best at roaming. Venge can, but as long as they're somewhat careful about the position of the Alch in the mid lane, Cuckoo plays a great Alchemist, tons of Aghanim Scepter upgrades that are really high level. All around, I'm loving it. This should be a good one.
Well, final pick, the most important one here for the Mongols. It's a safe lane hero. Huskar?
Oh my god. What are you doing?
You've picked Huskar into a Juggernaut AA Alchemist lineup. Now, we talk about tempo and setting the pace of the game a lot. It is very important in this meta to get up and running, get your primary items. A lot of teams like 5-manning into tier 1s to get that ball rolling and actually move themselves forward. But it is even more important for the Mongols to get things started early here with the Huskar. Against the AA, sure, Ancient Apparition can struggle getting to level 6, can struggle actually getting to that Ice Blast timing. So if Mongols are fast enough, if they can go and take tier 1s and actually build up the pace of this game quick enough, get the Huskar, his armlet, his Helm of the Dominator, probably look towards a BKB this game against the Hex and the Ice Blast, of course. They not just want to, but have to win this game. This isn't a Mongols team that can come back from a deficit. Against a Jugger and an Alchemist, you do not want to give them a lead. Laning stage here is imperative for the Mongols to win, but not just win, but win hard. They have to dominate the laning stage here.
Well, we've got a couple of predictions here. We'll close in a second, but quick thoughts. Number of Blink Daggers purchased by the 25-minute mark. I think the game's going to be over by the 25-minute mark. At least decided, probably.
I mean, heroes that buy Blink in this game, Juggernaut and Void, and I guess Lion. So Lion and Void may be the two, so I guess two as number of Blinks purchased by 25 minutes.
All right, yeah, number of deaths. Player deaths at the end of the game. It might be a high one. Let's say 40. We'll go for that. Tower be denied, yes. And players with most D wards, we'll go for
player
Demon.
with the most D wards by 15 minutes.
TNC, they tend to move out quickly. They TP to a lane and try and get set up.
I agree. Like, I underestimated Demon in the previous series of TNC, and I said that AU would have more wards out, but it looks like Demon has been kind of the ward bitch. He's been given that role while AU does get a lot more farm. But in this game, there's an interesting kind of dynamic here between AA and Lion, right? AA is very level dependent, needs to get to the level 6, while Lion is more item dependent, wants to get to that Blink Dagger. So Demon's going to be the one kind of roaming around and looking for the openings. He's still going to be warding and dewarding while...
In the meantime,
yeah, no one's died, Lyrical. We're fine. Everything is wonderful.
Good stuff. Well, early on, as the wards do look like they've already been placed, this Observer ward by Demon was able to scout out the movements now, moving in from Mongolz, but with no sentries, I don't believe it's going to get taken down. I don't even think they actually saw it, so kind of an interesting look.
A full 3 heroes up to the top for TNC, going to go for the top rune spot there. Look at the spread of the Radiant heroes, though. 5 down towards bottom rune spot. They're all spread very thinly across. Usually this is something you see when, you know, you're kind of safe in the fact that you know there's no roaming heroes, and there's no Riki, no Earth Spirit, and there's going to be no smoke aggression from TNC. But this also enables QQ to get the first bounty rune. You know, there's no contest on both bounty runes here from them. Let's give a nice little boost and a start there for the Alchemist who went for the Poor Man Shield. Double tangos, but also a Fairy Fire. Interesting, because usually the build is you go for the shared tangos, the PMS, then you buy a Quelling Blade and a Salve as soon as you possibly can. But this Fairy Fire does give him that extra bit of a saving mechanism against the Spirit Siphon, which is so devastating from the DP towards the mid lane.
They're going to Chilling Touch up right from the beginning, wanting to give that a little bit of extra damage to come out. Worth noting also that it is going to be, at least for the moment, the Doom that's sitting over in the jungle, Iron Toweling away, with Dazzle going for the D ward up top, and should just head back to lane afterwards. So, not wanting to mess around, no fuss, no muss, and it is going to be, at least for now, just the Doom in the jungle, even though he's sort of playing that 3 position.
But look at the Death Prophet mid. This is the important matchup we were talking about. The Alchemist is going to be the guy that needs to get this farm up and running. The AA we've seen a lot of the times previously. This nice little chilling touch for heroes like Shadow Fiend to get the initial CS, but the Dazzle will come across with Poison Touch and do a little bit of damage back, but the Death is still sitting at 2 and 3. Not where you want to be with the Null Talisman start. You want to be really getting the initial wave in perfectly.
Well, and you see down bottom as well that the Faceless Void, naturally a hero that's very strong and sustainable in lane, is going to struggle a little bit against the Huskar. So we'll keep our eyes between these two. Top should be relatively safe for not missing first blood, as it's just kind of a juggernaut by himself. If he dives tower, then we'll start to change our tune. But at least for now, we're feeling relatively safe up there.
Yeah, first blood's going to happen either mid or bottom lane. The Faceless Void maybe going to be a little bit safer than the mid lane, because obviously with the Spirit Siphon coming up and running, level 3 will hit soon for the DP. Alchemist is susceptible to getting taken down, but the build that I was talking about, the Quelling Salve, the Chilling Touch has nicely kind of mitigated or broken that gap between Alchemist needing the extra damage on the creeps to get the last hits in, so he's been allowed to get the faster boots, which again keeps him safer in this mid lane.
You do also see a second bounty rune now picked up for the Alchemist. Meanwhile, a little bit of a find over here on the top side. Also going to be able to get the damage coming in from the Shadow Wave, and this is going to be first blood possibly for AU. He goes down. So Dazzle getting slightly lucky with that illusion rune. It's about the best one he could have gotten. I don't think he finds a kill with any other one.
That heal bomb from the illusions, Aaron Bolo, like that is some lucky stuff right there from the Dazzle. Unfortunate for AU, of course, you don't know that Dazzle's going to pop up with a heal bomb coming out of a couple of illusions. It's just not something you really play into or expect to come forward from you. So good stuff there from the Dazzle. Now the safe play here from TNC that they've managed to hold these lanes together for a good 2.5 minutes. It's not come crumbling down at their feet, but it definitely has, you know, wavered a tiny bit. But they've secured Alchemist's mid lane, his level 3, the 2 points in acid spray. This is where he starts to have this kind of ramp up time. He throws the acid down, he's going to get the last hits, and he's going to harass out the DP at the same time. It's just now the progression of making sure he doesn't die.
Well, and we talked about this. This is the lane that, and the game really, where Mongolz has to be aggressive. They can't sort of rest on their laurels. They really need to keep this pressure up, and haven't fallen behind at all. But worth noting, we've left this lane completely alone. Raven is finally going to be somewhat hampered as the Doom is going to rotate in towards this top side. Already level 4, and how dangerous is this Doom in this lane now? Does the Lion have to worry about getting killed off potentially?
Lion can get chipped away at. I don't think Demon is scared of dying at all. He's got 2 points in Earth Spike, and as soon as the Doom runs at the Lion, the Juggernaut's going to skip past the creep wave, and with 2 points of spin, has like kill potential over on him. I think it's going to be fine for them. But just take a look at the CS, and you look at the DP right now. 21 and 15. The 15's the big number here. 15 denies against an Alchemist. QQ is not having a happy time. He's 8 and 1. They've kept him safe. We've talked about this, but if you're not getting last hits as Sam H, he gets the bounty stolen from him, but this might be the end of the Vengeful Spirit.
Oh, he needs a bash really badly, and just unfortunately, I think he hit him 3 or 4 times and wasn't able to get a single one. Really unfortunate there for that Faceless Void. A little bit of the unlucky side. Yeah, you're mentioning it. I mean, 15 denies on this Alchemist. It's worth noting he still has been able to get a decent chunk of gold, and it's not all lost. A couple of those bounty runes, and it's going to be starting. I mean, it's not the best.
It's an Alch. He's going to get gold from somewhere, but they're stacking up the jungle for him at least a little bit just to try and build up that bank for the next 5-6 minutes for him.
Top lane going to be able to go now onto this Doom, and with the spin as well as the Earth Spike, they're going to be able to find that kill. So
yeah, that's why Demon's never really scared of that lane, just because the spin is so much damage back onto the Doombringer there.
That's actually a nice chunk of gold going their way. About a 500 gold swing off for the 1 kill. Farming all game just to put a little bit more gold in their pockets. And now Cuckoo, after the second stack, is going to be trying to clear these out. So the catch-up mechanic is going to be there against the Death Prophet, who is still denying creeps there in the mid lane. Almost has as many as the last hits.
I mean, she's got double nulls and now a DD rune back in the bottle as well. Like, if Alchemist wanted... Oh, Demon.
Maybe in a little bit of trouble. The right clicks are going to be there. They do end up being able to throw out the Hex, and now Chilling Touch as well, trying to turn this back around. Cuckoo drops the Acid Spray. They might be able to... Oh, why? Don't do it!
Okay, Dazzle's dead and AA is dead.
Alright, we got 3 kills. That was the Ancient Apparition gone, but...
Where did Venge die? Oh, Venge died as well.
Juggernaut rotated into that one, so use the Omni Slash to be able to find the kill. Sorry about that one, a little bit of frustrating stuff, but still a really big win there for TNC.
The biggest thing is that Alchemist was nearby, so he gets, a chunk of that experience, getting close to that level 6 marker. He'd love to be there right now, and you see the DP closing on level 6, but this has been a tragic laning phase really for the Alch, but it's still not as tragic as I feel it needs to be for the Mongolz to actually push themselves forward. Yeah, Huskar will get into this armor sooner rather than later. And now, you just look at what TNC are doing right now. AA is mid. This is absolutely key. It's a pivotal point in the game in the next, well, let's give it the time marker. 9 to 10 minutes is when Huskar is going to have his armor, he's going to be pushing tier 1s, they're going to be looking for fights, and they'll have the Grave behind him to save him. So if the AA can get Ice Blast by 9 minutes, TNC are in a good spot to defend tier 1 towers, and then by doing so you limit how much gold not only the Huskar gets, But you look at the Dazzle and Avenge, they're relatively poor. They need gold, they need to progress in items, and that's where supports get their items from, or their gold from, is from killing off towers.
Well, and I'm looking at this, even though you do have Mongolz doing everything right that they can to deal with this Alchemist, I remember pro players just talking about the Ancient Apparition when they're playing Huskar and the fear it puts in your mind. You're never really safe as the Huskar with that chilling, the AA blast that can come through. It's such a scary spot, but they are going to wrap around now. We do have the Dazzle as well as the Death Prophet looking to see if they can mess with Cuckoo slightly.
Oh, he's not level 6 yet.
And he might be in some trouble.
No Spirit Siphon?
Okay.
Oh. Like, if that play there by QQ is like so perfect, going behind the trees and staying in that kind of line of fog under the ramp so the DP couldn't catch him with the Spirit Siphon. It literally, half a second, not even a full duration Spirit Siphon, it's like half a second, just that little slow there, the tap, allows the rest of the heroes to catch up, allows them to move in onto the Alk and find the kill.
Well, you can see now, you talked about it, coming a little bit earlier is the pressure. Armlet's still not yet up online, but the wraparound top, he might be able to find a kill here. Doom in a lot of trouble, Finger of Death, Omni Slash for good measure. Why not? Let's just kill that guy off.
And the kitchen sink, just throw everything at him, honestly. But this is the Huskar now with Armlet pretty much done. Oh yeah, over on the Courier, it's already there and available for him. The Veil is over on your Death Prophet as well, so the key items are coming through. Like I said, kind of 8, 9, 10 minute mark is where Mongolz will just, you know, it's the flick of the switch. They're like, right, we've got items, let's go and do shit, let's go and fight, we'll go forward, we'll try and force TNC into a situation where they're uncomfortable and they have to battle into us. The Alchemist is nowhere near at that critical mass yet. He's still got another 10 minutes to go until he's anywhere near that big old Radiant Swoop to Travel build.
I will say that you look at the way that this game progressed, had the Ancient Apparition been up there and able to take the stacks with the Alchemist, that play really stands out to me as one of the defining moments. When the DP walked in and took down those 2 large stacks, that easily could have been the level 6 for Ancient Apparition, as well as Cuckoo finishing off his Armlet. So really, really good decision making from Mongolz. They just need to keep up the aggression, and they might have a way just to be able to make it through here. AA is not getting that level 6 quite quickly enough for how fast these towers are falling.
It's one tier 1, and that's kind of one you expect to fall by 10 minutes, so I think it's fine for now, and they have given this kind of bridge for AA to get into level 6. He's halfway through level 5 at this point in time. DP hasn't popped her first ulti yet. I'm wondering when that's actually going to come forward, if they go towards like a Roshan, if they want to try and fight around tier 1 mid, which is a very important tower to take. Because there's one hero in the game that we haven't really talked too much about, and that is Raven's Juggernaut. You know, we looked at him the first 5-6 minutes, uncontested lane, free farming through, but he's put in Yasha's up, and this is a hero that, you know, does have a very high bar for tempo setting. He can kill people off with his spin, he's got healing ward to keep people going as well, and DP has used her ulti. I'm really confused.
I think that
visual. No, you see it as well, right? That's not a visual bug. That's actually.
Yeah, that's on cooldown. That's a mistake. That is not the correct play because she is not even by the tier 1 tower. So mistakes were made. Apparently R is pretty close to something that she pressed. Maybe it's a legacy key thing, but they are going to be able to move in and try and make something of this. But for a lineup that's so dependent upon being able to hit these timings to make sure that those towers are going down, how big of a deal is it to lose a DP ulti like that?
Every DP ulti has to take an objective. Whether that objective be a triple kill in a team fight, whether it be a tier 1 tower, whether it be Roshan, every exorcism has to accomplish something. That exorcism accomplished like 2 creep kills. That's it. So this is 140 seconds, or well, 90 seconds now at least, where the Death Prophet isn't the scary force. Like, TNC knows exorcism are down. Maybe this is some massive mind game bait where Sanka's like, you know what guys, I'm gonna screw them around, I'm gonna use my DP ult, they're gonna think we can fight into this, and we smoke up behind the DP, try and bait her out. But TNC, they will actually try and smoke up and wrap in on this. It looks like they will try and take advantage of it. And sure, exorcism is very important to be used aggressively here for the Mongolz. Well, find the Alchemist.
Yeah, Cuckoo just a little bit forward, so I don't know. It was a very weird series of events, Gareth. I'm very confused. The Cuckoo does end up getting smoke ganked in. They do end up dropping the Chronosphere. Going to be able to get now onto for the A blast as well. And a 3-person Earth Spike is going to go through. Can they find this kill onto the Huskar? He does manage to pop. Sam H running away for the moment. And I'm not sure if they've quite done enough damage, though. Raven is doomed for the moment. And I think with that, he should still be fine. So they hold back the aggression for the moment, but a really nice combination, and it shows why that Huskar is just so vulnerable to that Ice Blast.
Yeah, they kill off the Dazzle, realizing that even if they kill off the Alchemist or get him low during the Chronosphere, the Dazzle could come back with a nice little grave. So focusing Dazzle, perfect from TNC there. Then move on to the Huskar. Unfortunate for them that Juggernaut was doomed and couldn't continue back onto the supports like the Vengeful Spirit, who dropped low. But like you mentioned, that Ice Blast on top of the Chrono, the combo was good. Sad that the Alchemist couldn't be there because he's not even level 8 yet at 12.5 minutes, and he did die back over in the Dire Jungle. But Exorcism has returned for Sankey on this Death Prophet, and again, they have to do something with this. Once Huskar respawns, it's the game of 5 manning. They've got to keep going, pumping into these tier 1s, or else they're going to start losing out on the split push and split farm game.
Well, and it's such a scary proposition as well, because you want to be able to make that move happen consistently, but they really have to do it when Chronosphere is down. So they are going to be trying to go for the push here into the mid lane. As still there with the weave as well. But Alchemist, one of the best to just holding back those creeps. Acid spray down and should be able to pull it past. Tier 1 tower probably will fall with this, but...
So the thing is with the Mongolz, they're not heavily ulti reliant to take team fights. Exorcism is nice to have in a team fight, but it's mainly about the grave, the swap, the jump in from the Huskar that's very important for them. Whereas for objective taking, Ice Blast not going to land there.
Well, they'd be in a little bit of trouble. They are going to get out the magic missile, swap back onto Cuckoo. AU is going to run away for the moment. They do have a Chronosphere in 13 seconds, so not quite soon enough. The chase is going to continue over here, and AU is barely going to be able to walk away. 40 HP. Lion going to take it for the moment and is not going to finally find that hit with the Ghost. So they keep him back, but the movement into Roche, that might be too bold.
Without the Ghosts up, it's not really viable for them, especially when they have to TP top to address the Juggernaut.
He is definitely starting to get his farm on, and we've seen this build a couple of times, sometimes going back for the Battle Fury afterwards, so you're still capable of fighting early, but are going to be able to scale better into the late game. So we'll see what he ends up going for. He's just going to instead finish off the Manta style, so wants to be able to survive a little bit longer and not be hampered by that DP silence.
Demon has done very well this game. 105, 1600 gold in the bank right now. Blink Dagger is getting closer and closer. And we've talked about the Chrono Ice Blast combo. We've talked about how great Ice Blast is against the Dazzle, the Huskar, the DP. But when you get that Blink Dagger on the Lion, add in the factor that you have 2 supports that can solo, that can, well, you look at it this way, you can solo kill with the Lion with the Ice Blast flying over, right, onto any hero on the map, like this right here. That's without a Blink Dagger. Now imagine a Lion with a Blink Dagger jumping onto a Huskar, and that same situation happening, Juggernaut slices through it!
Omni Slash is going to kill him off, and now going to chase down the DP as well. Controlled for the moment, and going to be able to get that chilling touch out. Everything going their way. Now as well, Proxy going to start to take some damage. They have the body blocks. They've got the stun. 4 are going to be dead, and it's all set up by Demon Dota. Killing off right at the start.
I love it when you big up a player and you talk about the combos that you can pull off, and it happens right before your very eyes. I mean, this is the strength of TNC's lineup, right? They have 2 supports that can kill anyone on the map, anytime, any place, anyhow. Then they've got the cores, and also play very well into the Huskar. The Omni Slash, great with the physical damage onto them. The Blade Fury, good at chasing down the DP. This Alchemist pick, it almost feels as if Alchemist could be any other hero, because the other 4 heroes are doing so well at holding this game together.
They know what they're doing, and they've been playing this style for a really long time. I mean, the Lion AA is the big sort of, for me at least, sort of departure from previous play. I gotta say, the other thing is that fight happened without a Chronosphere being used, so Mongolz can't really effectively push into this, I don't think, either. It's a very bold move to try and move down mid, but they have to try and regain some type of composure. Ancient Apparition Blast is going to be back up too for this.
It's like I said at the end of the draft, it's like I've said a couple times already, it's not something that the Mongolz maybe planned, halfway through the draft, but by the end of it, it was something that they realized that is necessary of them, is the constant 5-man, the constant pressure and push. if you're getting split pushed, whatever, you have to deal with it. You just have to get these towers down.
Oh man, and they're moving in right now. Faceless Void, he's hungry. He wants to throw out one of these Chronospheres and catch several again. They maybe are going to play a little bit more reserved. This is the one thing that TNC have struggled with occasionally, is they build up some momentum and you can feel that energy, that hunger to really take the last next objective, and maybe having a little bit of control is what they need to push them over the edge. But this to me shows that a little bit of self-control, not trying to go for gold, instead just play safe, get your farm, and wait for the next push.
Like, it feels like, especially as I say these things, it feels even as I'm saying them that I'm being a bit biased towards TNC, but this game, this draft, the Mongols have put themselves, you know, backs against the wall, and they are very all in with this draft. They don't have, you know, a dynamic draft that can do multiple things. They're not very good at split pushing. This is just like 5-man group up and push. So TNC have more options and are more diverse with what strategies and ways of entering fights and avenues of... They have greater win conditions. They have a greater amount of win conditions on TNC than the Mongols do have. And Roshan taking here, not only is it great for TNC to have when going into these big brawls and fighting and eking out advantages, but denying Aegis against the Mongols is a huge thing as well, because Husker with Aegis is an absolute monster.
Yeah, no, it's worth putting that out there again, that this is not by any means TNC out of the water. Mongols have been putting together a very effective game plan. They've taken down the tier 2 tower in the mid lane. All of the tier 1s are now gone, and there has to be another push here towards high ground, and it's not easy for TNC to stop this.
That's the thing, right? If TNC miss the Ice Blast, or they get a suboptimal chrono, this could be the Mongols like just walking up to high ground. That is their strength. Their biggest strength is that any suboptimal play from TNC, any little team fight losses, a hero gets picked off too fast, or they don't focus down the Husker or the Dazzle fast enough, if there's a great swap, if there's a great grave, the Mongols have the means to win this game in like one fell swoop. It's not going to be a slow and steady like, yeah, we'll take advantage here and here. It's going to be like they win one team fight, they take tier 3, they take racks, and it's just like bam, 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 all the dominoes fall at once.
Yeah, true. And they are going to jump now again onto the... They jumped onto the Lion Illusion. God, it's just so scary. Seeing this Huskar walk around at this low HP, you know that Ancient Apparition Blast, if he catches sight of him, can come very rapidly, and it would just be a kill. So very scary indeed. But the Mongols now going to move down towards this bottom lane, I'm assuming, to see if they can finish it off. For TNC, do you want to try and take the fight at the tier 2 tower bottom here, or do you just wait for high ground?
I think you just wait for high ground. I don't think you're too worried about just giving up tier 2 towers here, because you're getting split push done.
Proxy, meantime, another pickoff, and that one hurts.
That's the combo. That is the combo. I mean, honestly, it is fortunate for the Mongols that it's the Venge that dies there, and it's kind of a statement. It's a bold move by the Vengeful Spirit. We see it a lot from support players. They put themselves to tank the gank. They put themselves in a position where either they spot a smoke, or they will be the ones that are on the front lines and get picked off immediately. So it's fortunate for the Mongols that it's the Venge, but it's still a kill for TNC. It's still money in the bank for Demon, and this is, you know, 15-20 seconds where their tier 2 isn't being pressured.
Right, no, absolutely, and they can't go if they're not all together. They have to be able to go as 5 and make sure that if there is a really big Chronosphere, that Venge is so important for being able to swap out the Huskar or the DP potentially.
For sure.
That's really, oh god, an Invis rune now up for the Faceless Void. They are going to be smoked, so they'll reveal that he's in the area as he walks forward into them.
They have no reveal. They have no dust, no sentries.
Maybe now just going to walk into the Chronosphere?
Oh man, they have no idea, dude.
Oh.
They literally have no idea.
They're gonna turn thinking about going on. Okay, they jump forward thinking about the Chrono. He just jumps out, and the Earth Spike, the Hex as well, are gonna be able to throw out the Ancient Apparition Blast, and that should be one kill, maybe a second one, as they are able to bring down the Vengeful Spirit. Oh my god, this is really the best the rune that you could have hoped for. That's gonna be a kill onto the Dazzle. Now maybe gonna be able to get a little bit more. Cuckoo is gonna be doomed, so this is going to be a kill against the Alk. So something going the way of Mongolz.
They have Aegis, Omni Slash, Ice Blast in 15, and a Chrono, but this is Exorcism gone for a kill on an Alk in AA. and this is an exorcism which can't push tier 3s in the high ground. So again, it's an acceptable fight on the Radiant side of the map, where TNC kind of set the terms of the engagement, all thanks to that Invis rune picked up by the Faceless Void. It could have gone better, sure. TNC could have found more kills, they could have not lost the Alchemist, they went a little bit deep, but it's still Mongolz on the back foot, and again, suboptimally utilizing their ultimates because they have to. Because TNC have, they're poking, they're prodding, they're putting themselves in this position where the Mongolz are the reactive team. Oh dear.
Oh, this could end up being it very quickly. Hexton maybe gonna go down. They end up being able to throw out the Earth Spike. And a godlike streak for TNC Raven.
I mean, Juggernaut and Lion pairing up together there. Demon and Raven have not died yet once this game.
It's good stuff. They've been playing great Dota so far, and
is Dazzle dead as well?
They might be able to. It's just
they know someone's there.
They realize every time. Well, Dean's gonna be going for the walk around, and they might bite off a little bit more than they can chew. But if they can find this Venge again, oh, finds for the moment, and that's gonna be a quick kill onto the Dazzle. If you're Mongolz right now, you've just got to be saying, what is happening? That was Demon doing a little taunt as well. Did you see that? Oh, no.
He did do the Lion shuffle.
He did.
Nice stuff. He's got Blink Force by 22 minutes. It's an insane game by the Lion. His net worth is ahead of the Faceless Void, who has done well for himself regardless. He's 0-1-4 with 1200 gold, closing on his Blink Dagger. Hand of Midas is here for AU on the AA. A level 11 has hit for him on top of all of this, so they're just making sure, that they've got the mid to late game secured. As this Alchemist, honestly, I said he could be any other hero. I think QQ is, legs crossed, just like relaxing, hands behind his head, going, yep, I'm going to A-move in the jungle. I don't really need to do too much this game. My team is carrying me at this point. I will turn up in 10 minutes or so, 6 slotted. Don't worry, guys.
Yeah. Well, and he's not been dying, too. Like, that's the other part of this. He's died twice, but since those first initial laning stage, he's remained safe. He's, kept himself all good to go. And eventually, you start thinking about Agnum Scepter being given to his team here. There's some great ultimates that are going to be upgradable. I do have to think that the big defining moment for me in this game so far was where the Lion was able to pick off that Dazzle fairly solo, and then it was just one after the other feeding into him. It felt like that was really one of the points where the momentum was just wrested away from Mongolz, and still a scary proposition though as they're moving in towards the tier 3 tower. The game is not over.
I mean, this smoke here, if they don't win the team fight straight off from this and then take tier 3, Mongolz feels like the game is close to over.
Okay, again a little bit of some lag coming through.
Like, the plan from that smoke was we catch someone, and then we snowball it into another kill, we take tier 3, maybe we force a buyback here or there. And unfortunately for them, bottom lane is being shoved in hard. They've all showed on the map, so Raven is free to actually push this bottom lane, while the all-in, I said, was, inevitable from the Mongolz from the draft ending to now. It has to come through.
Yeah, and I mean, you're still hitting tier 3 towers there. There's no going back at this point. You can't try and trade this out here. I feel like Mongolz have to just commit fully, and the Ancient Apparition Blast is going to go connect. That's going to be a dead DP. The Chronosphere follow-up. Mongolz, they are going to be still alive with the Huskar. Cuckoo taking a lot of damage, but can they actually kill him off? He's going to go down. Grave is still available. It keeps Proxy alive, but that means there's no Grave now available for the Huskar. There's 2 dead. Maybe going to be able to find another one. Demon jumped in on it. AU now also going to start to go down. Huskar is going all over the world, and already an ultra kill. Can he make it a rampage? The Juggernaut trying to do anything in arm with Hubble's not quite good enough. Raven doing what he needs to do and taking the team on his back. Buyback from the Ancient Apparition as well. It was almost beautiful, but unfortunately not quite enough. They aren't going to be able to break high ground.
That's the thing, right? That was almost the perfect fight for the Mongolz. Sure enough, the DP gets zapped down immediately, and that's great play by TNC, but keeping the Huskar alive and flowing through this team fight was huge for the Mongolz. He did a lot of work, but like you said, perfectly, they still didn't take tier 3. They still didn't take Rax. Bottom lane, tier 3, and Rax nearly fell. Raven, he did have to come back to, pick up the pieces of that team fight and make sure that they didn't lose too much, but the structural damage here to the Mongolz is such that TNC have such a great stead in this game. The foothold is definitely there, and just, that leg up, that push forward is inches away from them. And it's not just a leg up and a push forward from them, they're stomping down onto the heads of the Mongols as well.
I know, it's really a scary spot. That felt like it was the moment. Maybe you end up getting one more armlet toggle there for the Huskar, and you find a way to turn that fight around against Raven. He gets a rampage, and suddenly the buybacks have to come out in mass. But at least for now, as we do have a little bit of a lag ski going on, it just does feel right now like TNC are very far ahead. 10,000 net worth with right around 9,000 or so experience lead. And maybe when do we actually call it the last hurrah? When's the last push? I mean, is it just gonna have to be the next one?
It's the one before they call GG.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, exactly. I like that. It's like the keys are always in the last place you look.
I mean, I have to think about this for a second because it's not easy, right? Because the Mongols, they've been all-inning non-stop. It's so hard to say because there's always that like last chance, like that. There will always be a chance as long as they have Exorcism, right? Yeah. So, let's say if Exorcism is down, they can't fight, then TNC will be able to push forward and maybe keep the creep equilibrium across the river and towards the tier 2s and tier 3s of the Radiant. That's maybe when the Mongols... Okay, when the Mongols are defending their tier 3 and high ground, that's kind of like we concede. That's game over, because then they're not a very good high ground defensive team. They're not great at, you know, abating this push in from TNC once they get their big items up. Next, Roshan might be the big point of contention though for both teams in the coming minutes. Right. Or in fact, the coming 20 seconds or so, because Demon spotted it out.
Demon wants to take Roche himself. I've had enough of your stuff. I'm the carry now. He's going to end up actually heading away for the moment. But yeah, I would kind of agree with you there that it does feel like the moment when Mongols are defending their high ground, it's kind of going to be all is lost. Again, every match matters, though. It's worth playing it out till the very end. And as far as a way back into this game, the Doom's Cuckoo there was a really great play from Doom.
Oh yeah.
Those types of movements, and Huskar is getting rather large and in charge. 3,600 gold on this man. I'm gonna try and go now for the smoke.
The BKB is huge for him. It's an item that you never really want to buy on Huskar, but against an AA you have to. Like, it is a necessity. Mm-hmm. It's, you know, a lot like heroes like Storm and heroes like that where you just want to keep... Storm wants to keep racking up intelligence and mana regen items. Huskar just wants to keep, you know, racking up stats and getting his strength up, getting into that strength to give his inner vitality even more healing power. BKB will allow him to survive through the AA, allow him to dodge out of, you know, hexes and stuns and make sure that he can't get himself locked down, but he's still susceptible to physical damage from Raven's Omni Slash, which is why it's super important for Huskar, DP, and maybe even the Doom to stand near each other.
Right.
But you know what happens when people stand near each other? You get 3-man chrono and Ice Blasted. So it's a really double-edged sword where Huskar doesn't want to get owned by an Omni Slash, but he also doesn't want to get owned by the big combo at TNC.
Oh, there's the jump in. Finger of Death able to kill from afar and do end up being able to get a really nice chrono. Ancient Affirmation Blast is going to go through. The Omni Slash is there as well. Mongols getting destroyed. They are going to be able to kill off absolutely everybody. Triple for Raven, Roche on the menu, and a 5-man team by TNC, large and in charge.
Meanwhile, MVP of the game, Creepwave at bottom lane is going to take a full lane of racks before anything else is said and done. Wait, is someone BOTing? Oh yeah, Alk has BOTs. I forgot there was an Alk in the game, honestly.
It's weird because through the Olympic qualifiers, Cuckoo has been like one of the best players. He's been the one that's...
So he's a linchpin player, for sure.
And you still do have the Raven. I mean, this goes to show that there's so many different playmakers on this team. And it's one of the reasons why I think people are still thinking there's a good chance that they are a contender for making it to TI, even though they went through the open qualifiers.
But this is TNC, remember? They always do very well in the initial stages of like group stage and the early stages of playoffs, and then once it comes to that final, hey, we can win, we can do this, they have struggled in the past. But new roster, maybe new things to come for them. I mean, we are talking as though this game is over. It isn't over just yet, but it is very, very close. The Mongols have maybe one more push in them, one more, like, you know, force themselves out of the base, but they're fighting into Aegis, they're fighting into massive amounts of damage, and an Alchemist who now has items.
Yeah, it's something also where you are able to maybe have a push, like quotation marks push, because both of your other lanes, wherever you go, you have to go as 5 first of all, but even when you do end up going as 5, all the other lanes are going to be pushing in, so you're probably going to lose a lane of barracks. But at this point for Mongolz, it's go down mid, try and see if you can get something at all. Demon is finally maybe going to be punished, is going to get caught by the magic missile there, Force Staff away for the moment, but on the other side, Dazzle is going to be able to get taken out, and Proxy right click to death. Raven is still there, is going to end up being able to drop the Omni Slash, trying to kill them off. Not quite enough damage as of yet, and maybe going to be able to find this. That is going to be a dead DP, so regardless, Raven might fall, but he's been able to get a triple already. Never mind, this minute's never going to die. GG gets called.
Juggernaut has Aegis, so even if they bring down the Juggernaut, he's dead anyway. And a celebratory Chronosphere there from Sam H, making sure that everyone's nice in that blue bubble.
Well, 41 to 55. We were 1 off the kill score. It was almost there. Would have been great to get it, but oh wait, no, that's wrong. Okay, this one is wrong.
Oh no, dude, we had in the previous game, Draskell and I said Trust would win the game, and we put it in, and at the end it said that no one won the game. So we got the prediction wrong, even though we got it right. That's